we will review the topic of social influence. Now, social influence is the effects of other people on an individual's beliefs, attitudes, values, or behavior. Like other animals, humans learn by experiencing associations between stimuli, classical conditioning, such as the bell and the food for Pavlov's dog. If every time we see Tim, we have a good time, our association of Tim with good feelings may lead us to develop a positive attitude towards Tim and seek out his company. We also learn to repeat behaviors that in the past have been followed by favorable outcomes and avoid behaviors that have unfavorable outcomes. That is operant conditioning. If every time we tell a joke, our friends praise us, we will become more likely to tell additional jokes. In addition to those forms of learning, we humans also learn a great deal by getting information from others and from observing others and imitating their behaviors. An old expression captures the basic idea of social learning. Monkey see, monkey do. Plenty of animals besides monkeys learn this way. Birds learn songs from other birds. Untrained dogs learn faster if they are taught behaviors alongside dogs who are already trained. However, we humans are probably the species most reliant on social learning. From driving a car and hitting a tennis ball to eating sushi or doing the tango, we learn largely from watching others model those behaviors. In Bandura's seminal studies, mildly frustrated nursery school children between the ages of 3 and 6 watched a film of a young woman punch and kick a large inflated BoBo doll and hit it with a mallet. Children readily imitated this behavior when they were later given an opportunity to play with the BoBo doll. They punched and kicked the doll and hit it with the mallet, even in a manner eerily similar to the model's behavior, right down to repeating the same aggressive remarks the model had made. Pow! Right in the nose. Boom, boom. But observing and learning a behavior doesn't necessarily mean we will imitate it. According to social learning theory, we can either be encouraged to engage or discouraged from engaging in both new and known behaviors, depending on whether the actions we observe lead to positive or negative consequences. Thus, children were more likely to imitate the BoBo doll bashing model if the model was rewarded for the actions, for example, supplied with a soda or candy, but were less likely to do so if the model was punished for the actions, such as a second adult spanked the aggressive model with a rolled-up magazine. Learning is also influenced by our sensitivity to social cues and motivations. For example, imitation was also more likely when the model seemed likable and similar to the children. Finally, social learning is more likely if the behavior observed is consistent with the motivational state of the observer. So, frustrated kids are more likely to imitate a violent model. but rewarded models tend to be imitated regardless of the motivation state of the observer. So again, in social learning, we learn to do something new from watching others model the behavior. We unconsciously tend to mimic the nonverbal mannerisms of others. Observing others perform an action does much more than provide a model. Such exposure also communicates information about our social world. Thus, another basic way that people influence us is by priming ideas, norms, and values. For instance, watching someone engage in aggression makes aggressive concepts more accessible. When concepts are made salient or more accessible, they are more likely to influence our behavior. When other people remind us of the norm to be fair or to be charitable, for example, often we are more likely to act in accord with those norms. Now, in regards to social construction, cultures prescribe particular norms for particular situations. These norms influence our behavior as the situation activates associated schemas. Similarly, our cultures teach us the generalized beliefs that accompanies particular roles. Please review my next learning lecture on conformity, the phenomena where an individual alters his or her beliefs, attitudes, or behavior to bring them in accordance with those of a majority. We will also be reviewing the Asch conformity studies and the Milgram experiments.